I'm going to start with a story, and I think it really actually is a good example of what he talked about as being a person of holiness or a community of holiness. Now, in my experience with Muslims, I often find myself very much alone. And I think those of us who work full-time with Muslims, this is quite a lonely road. The church in general in Europe is not mobilized to work as a group, to move into Muslim communities. And so if you're called to work with Muslims, you know you're probably working alone much of your time. It's not ideal, but the Lord enables us to be able to minister for him, regardless of whether we're alone and we're with a group of people. And actually, when many Muslims come to Christ in a Muslim nation, they are alone as well. So sometimes perhaps that the Christians who are working with them end up being alone. Maybe God uses that so that we can minister to those people who come to Christ, and that we can understand the road that they walk on. But I want to pick up on a story. I'm in this Central Asian home. It's very male. There seems to be a lot of males in this home, young adult males. In an ideal situation as a single female, I wouldn't say that's the best kind of environment to go into. But there's no other Christian around, even though I've been asking in London for someone to go into this home, another man to go into this home and to begin to work with this family. Now, I got to know the family through getting to know the women, and I taught them English, because the women in this home are not allowed outside of the home unless they have a male companion with them. So the only way they could learn English is if a person went into the home. And that's what I started to do. And as I was in this home talking about holiness, after a few years, the brothers in this home, they're all late teenagers, young men, began to talk to myself, and I had one friend I managed to introduce, again, another female, to them. And they began to ask us questions about how we lived our lives, what we did. And of course, they just came up with the normal assumption, oh, you're going clubbing this weekend, aren't you? Because every English girl goes clubbing on the weekends. That's what they do. That's what every European Christian does, that you live for the weekends. That's the situation in Britain. It's probably the situation in other parts of Europe as well. Certainly in Western Europe, that would probably be the case. Now, as we were in this home, and these Muslim men started asking us about the boyfriends we had. So asking about us, oh, Betty, you get drunk, don't you? And all these just assumptions of who I was and how I live my life. And my friend and I said to them, well, number of things. We don't have boyfriends. First of all, they looked at us. They looked absolutely shocked. Like, what do you mean you don't have boyfriends? Now, I'm a little bit older now. And so by my age, you would have thought I would have lots of boyfriends, because that's what they saw all the other English girls on the streets having. And as we sat with them, we began to talk to them about how we lived our lives. We didn't have boyfriends. We didn't go clubbing on the weekends. We didn't get drunk. I've never been drunk in my life. It's just not something I've wanted to do. And I tell you, the gospel conversations that came out simply because we were talking about not getting drunk, not going clubbing, and not sleeping around. Now, again, in Bible school, you're never taught, if you're a girl, you don't talk about these issues with men, with Muslim men, because they're so intimate and they're so private. But there's no other evangelist around to be able to talk to these Muslim men about it. So in this family, in the context of this family, we have amazing opportunities because of a holy lifestyle to be able to communicate the gospel to them. And it's phenomenal how we've been able to really go deep into the things of God, simply because of how we've lived our life.